Wreck is going to need new oil filter and a full tank of gas to take on one of the top teams in the Clemson Tigers today. It's Clemson against Georgia Tech, coming right up on the other side of this. Tigers, one of the greatest shows in all of college football, but today up against the Rambling Wreck, and Georgia Tech coming in at 1-2, agitated but motivated for the upset today. In front of a full house, over 50,000 on hand, a sellout watching Clemson and Georgia Tech. And hello everybody, I'm Mark Jones alongside Dusty Dvorak, Molly McGrath making another entrance again this week. Dusty, great ball game on tap. When you look at Dabo Swinney telling us earlier this week that this is the most experienced team that's won a lot of games he's had since he's been at Clemson.
He's got experience, he's got depth, and boy, does he have talent. And no more talent than on that defensive line. The most talented defensive line I've ever watched on tape, and maybe the best position group in all of college football. They're going to have their hands full today with the #1 rushing offense, that triple option from Georgia Tech. They've had fumble issues and turnover issues. If they can take care of the football, limit possessions, we're in for a heck of a ball game today.
Yeah, this is the type of environment that seems ripe for an upset. Dabo Swinney saying that he has been able to hit the reset button on this year's edition of the Tigers and eradicate any type of entitlement. And this team has been firing on all cylinders so far. 3-0 coming into this one today. Paul Johnson, his counterpart on the other side of the field, feels that his team should be 3-0 right now, that they gave away a couple of games, that they had an opportunity to win the last 2 games against South Florida and Pitt, but for those turnovers, fumbling 6 times in those games. But today faced with a tremendous opportunity against Clemson. An electric atmosphere here at Bobby Dodd Stadium. Dusty, there are a lot of orange jerseys throughout all the different Peachtree streets here in Atlanta. We've seen them.
Clemson Nation travels extremely well, especially here to Georgia Tech. And one thing about Georgia Tech, they play very well here at Bobby Dodd. And they play very well against these Clemson Tigers, partner. They beat them 5 of the last 6 times here at home.
Well, Clemson won the toss, deferring to the second half. Georgia Tech will receive. And you mentioned the fact that pace will be a very important variable in today's game. Georgia Tech going to do its best to hang on to the football for as long as possible and keep that potent Clemson offense off the field.
It's a game of keep away. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense. Ball control, methodical, long drives.
Mari Jarrett goes back deep. for Georgia Tech, along with Wanye Thomas. First quarter, the last 3 games between these two teams have been nothing short of disastrous for Georgia Tech. Clemson has won 3 consecutive contests against Georgia Tech, and this one will come out first down and 10 for the Ramblin' Wreck at the 25-yard line. First and 10 for Taquan Marshall. He's completing 47% of his passes. He has had troubles in passing the football this year. But this is an offense, conversely, on the ground that is #1 in rush offense. Almost 400 yards, Dusty, per game.
And Taquan Marshall really knows how to run this triple option, has a great feel for his reads, and when he gets in the open field, he can really make you miss. The one area he has not grown is in the passing game, and Paul Johnson hopes that as this season progresses, Taquan Marshall will get more confidence, more comfort, and be able to deliver the football down the field.
First down and 10. Howard, Lynch, and Searcy, the backs. Marshall on the toss. Got a seam over the left side and a first down run by Quay Searcy. And a good block from Clinton Lynch, number 22, to lead the way. A 20-yard gain on the first play, Dustin.
Nice job on the perimeter, and you mentioned it. 22, Clinton Lynch. Outstanding block on the perimeter. He gets his guy blocked up, and Quay Searcy finds the perimeter. Nice pickup from Georgia Tech offense.
It'll be interesting to see how this scheme of Georgia Tech impacts those talented defensive linemen you talked about from Clemson. Nice gain again. This time it was Marshall keeping it. Brought down by J.D. Davis. Taquan Marshall picked up 7 on that play. He's the leading rusher for this Georgia Tech squad. Very similar in style to the previous quarterback here, Justin Thomas. Very prolific runner. Once in a while, he'll drop back and try and sting you with the throw. Second down and 4. Marshall keeps it. Broke a couple of tackles and is brought down at about the 41-yard line. Picked up 8. A missed tackle by Farrell that time.
Christian Wilkins with good penetration, but Taquan Marshall with an excellent read. He's going to keep it, outrun the defender, and a nice cut right underneath Cleveland Farrell, who's in good position, but Taquan Marshall just too good in the open field.
There's a look at Wilkins along with Farrell, Lawrence, and Bryant. That All-American front for Clemson. Marshall keeps it again, makes it down to the 38-yard line. Trey Lamar, the leading tackler for the Tigers, making the tackle on the play. This is the biggest point spread deficit that Georgia Tech has faced under Paul Johnson.
Don't think that didn't go unnoticed by Paul Johnson and his football team. He needed some added motivation for this one. Georgia Tech has that and some.
Play clock down to 7. Marshall keeps it again. He got stuck, Dusty, at the 35-yard line by Trey Lamar. His second tackle of the ball game. Mentioned that he's their leading tackler. It's not just those guys up front on that defense for the Tigers.
So Trey Lamar's got great size. He runs well. Take a look at Taquan Marshall. Not very big in stature. Good open field tackle by Trey Lamar. Has his pads down. Very physical as he takes the quarterback to the ground. 5 plays so far, all rush plays. Third down and 4. Marshall on the late toss and a first down run. Clinton Lynch was on the other end of that toss and picked up 7 to move the sticks again. Good decision making by Marshall. You know, Kendall Joseph, the starting linebacker, he is out. 33, J.D. Davis, is in for him. And he's got pitch responsibility. He gets a little bit cut. He's not able to get outside. And it's just enough for Clinton Lynch to get to the perimeter and pick up enough for the first down.
First and 10. Opening drive of the ball game for Georgia Tech. Little reverse pivot that time by Marshall. And down to the 25-yard line. A nice gain. Trey Lamar making yet another tackle for Clemson, but an 8-yard gain. And all running plays so far for Georgia Tech.
Taquan Marshall making all the proper reads so far. Clemson defense does not have an answer to this point. Give this Georgia Tech offensive line a lot of credit. They're coming off with extremely low pad leverage, getting off the football on the backside, doing a good job cut blocking, forcing Clemson to play with their hands and play a touch slow.
Marshall again kept it. And this time got about 2 yards on the play. Farrell making the stop. He's run it 6 times for 31 yards, and he gets up a little bit slowly. That's Taquan Marshall coming out of the game. Tobias Oliver in the ball game now, his backup on the first possession, the first series, pardon me, of the game. A little movement on the left side for Georgia Tech.
All start. Offense number 1. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's going to go against Searcy, but interesting to see how long now that Taquan Marshall stays on the sidelines. Tobias Oliver is in there right now, number 8.
Watch the defensive line here after the false start by Georgia Tech. Some hand motions, some playing. This is a group that has a lot of fun. They enjoy their jobs. They enjoy each other.
Nice play of the drive. A quick handoff. First man through is Jerry Howard, who's filling in for Gervonta Benson, who was injured a couple of games ago, suffered a knee injury, is done for the season. Marshall on the sidelines being tended to. Look like they're working on that right leg around the knee. He's already struggling with a toe issue. So here early in the game, first series for Georgia Tech. And we get a look at Tobias Oliver, the backup quarterback.
Unbalanced set here for Georgia Tech.
Toss to the wide side of the field. It's on the ground. Fumble. And Georgia Tech seems to have recovered at the 21-yard line. But a big hit by A.J. Terrell on the play. Fumbles have been an issue. 6 of them so far for Georgia Tech on the season.
Just a toss to the wide side of the field. And the cornerback's going to come up and force it. A.J. Terrell, outstanding job coming up from his cornerback position, lowering the shoulder, getting the ball out. Georgia Tech, fortunate partner to get that ball back.
2 inauspicious plays for all of them.
You mentioned Taquan Marshall's left toe injury. He's been dealing with a lot of pain. He told me he's seeking treatment for his left toe 3 to 4 times a day, totaling up to 5 hours of treatment a day. It's a lot of stretching, ice, massage, laser therapy. So that's definitely going to be a factor here for him.
Yeah, Molly, 3rd and 14. Marshall back in after 2 unproductive plays led by Oliver. Back after this. right here on ABC, we'll have another top 20 matchup between number 7 Stanford and number 20 Oregon in Eugene for this huge Pac-12 North matchup. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC, and live on the ESPN app, so you can watch the game anywhere, folks. Now, right here, we've got the 11th play of the Georgia Tech drive. Paul Johnson's team has run it all 10 times so far, but it's 3rd and long throwing situation. Marshall going to pass it. Sacked. Lost the ball. Fumbled. And Georgia Tech recovered it. Kristen Wilkins either ripped it out of Marshall's hands or forced the sack on the hit. And it's 4th down now, and that kind of puts them on the fringes of field goal range.
Well, Christian Wilkins, one of the most dynamic defensive linemen in college football. He's going to get up the field. He's going to penetrate and beat the center one-on-one with the rip. And he gets there. That left hand strips the ball out. Big sack fumble, and he likes it. Little celebration with his partner, Cleveland Farrell. Big-time stop by the Clemson defense. One of the best defensive tackles in college football, Christian Wilkins.
Brenton King trying to get this field goal from 48 yards out. A little bit of motion up front.
False start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Boy, that's a killer. They're already on the fringes of King's field goal range. As long as this year is 35. And this will make it
be a punt situation, partner. Yeah.
They're going to switch.
Yeah. We talked with Paul Johnson yesterday. He did not trust his kicker as he gets too far out as far as distance goes. And Paul Johnson not very happy with his offensive lineman, Jack DeFore.
He was incensed as DeFore came to the sidelines. So, Dusty, they burn up about 7.5 minutes on the clock and nothing to show for it. Clemson going to get the football here after the punt. Presley Harvin with an end-over-end punt that carries into the end zone. And Clemson will start off 1st and 10 after that 36-yard punt. Well, it's not July, but it sure feels hot like it right now on that Georgia Tech sideline. Northeast and West Peachtree, folks. There are 71 71 streets, Dusty, in Atlanta with Peachtree in the name. That will blow up the GPS on your phone in a minute. Don't get lost on me when we get back to the hotel. On first down, Clemson with its first play offensively. Out of the backfield to their leading receiver, Amari Rogers. Kelly Bryant getting the start at quarterback, but, well, they have a two-headed quarterback position right now with the freshman Trevor Lawrence. Polycephaly quarterback. Check out your definition.com app on that one. ETN running it and brought down by Desmond Branch and Victor Alexander.
That's too fast for my vocabulary, Jonesy. But I'll tell you what, it's a two-quarterback system. Each of these guys get essentially the same amount of reps. Different skill set, but both extremely effective in this offense.
Bryant with the start fires incomplete. Intended to ETN out of the backfield. The true sophomore dropped it.
Really worked. Travis Etienne's really worked to become a complete back, better in pass protection, a dynamic runner, and he has been catching the ball well, but it dropped there on first down.
Kelly Bryant right there, the two-year starter for the Tigers, 15-2 as a starter. Bumped up Deshaun Watson for a couple of seasons before taking over. Here looking at 2nd and 10. Out of the backfield, complete to the tight end, Mylan Richard. Tackled immediately by Carpenter. There's QB 1A. I'm not going to call him number 2, but QB 1A, Trevor Lawrence, the highly touted freshman from nearby Cartersville, Georgia. And he has shown a lot of poise with 5 touchdown passes against just 1 interception on the season. We'll see him before the afternoon is done. 3rd and long for the starter, Kelly Bryant. Georgia Tech with a stop on its first defensive series. David Curry with the tackle. He was the first one there.
It's going to be a 4-man rush in 32. David Curry, he's going to be on a delayed blitz, the linebacker. Just going to kind of mirror the quarterback. Coming around, it opens up on the stunt with the nose tackle. He gets there first. It's also Kyle Surge. Henderson, outstanding pass rush on 3rd down to get their defense off the field.
Brad Stewart back deep on his own 31-yard line. Will Spires punting from his 15. And it takes a Tiger bounce out of bounds at the 29-yard line. We'll be back in a minute after that 46-yard punt. Second possession of the ball game for Georgia Tech on its first. They used up 7:46 on the clock and self-destructed at about the 25-yard line of Clemson. 5 minutes to go here in the first. Marshall in the ball game. A bad toss, and they're going to lose a few yards out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. Molly has a little bit more on this defensive coordinator facing a challenge.
Yeah, that's right, Mark. Brent Venables very animated on the sideline.
Week in our meetings with Clemson defending it.
Assignment football, eye discipline, and you have to play well with your hands and stay on your feet. A lot of cut blocks with this Georgia Tech offense.
Marshall surveying and nowhere to go, sacked. Back at the 19-yard line, J.D. Davis, the first one to get there. He got the start today for Kendall Joseph, and good pressure from Trey Lamar. 3rd and long coming up for Georgia Tech.
This defense is fired up. They're excited. They're animated. Brent Venables is going to bring some pressure, both of his linebackers. And it's J.D. Davis getting the start today. He finds the quarterback and gets him down once again behind the line of scrimmage. 3rd and super long, not a place Georgia Tech can afford to be.
Marshall on the toss. They lose it again. Loose ball. Clemson got it. Touchdown, Tigers! Trey Lamar made the hit on the play. And Clelin Ferrell scooped it up for the touchdown.
Clemson plays this option perfect. Certain parts of the option you got to stop. You got to take the dive back initially. You got to be able to take the quarterback, and you got to have an alley player that can play the pitch. Big hit by 57 Trey Lamar, and then it's just a scramble for the football, and Clemson is on top of it. And I can assure you of one thing, Brent Venables, he's loving that. As intense and passionate a coach as you'll find in college football. Had the opportunity to play for him when I was at Oklahoma, and what he's been able to do since he's come to Clemson, he's been able to bring emotion, energy, fantastic players, and week in, week out, one of the best defenses in college football.
Great stick by Lamar, and the subsequent scoop and score from Clelin Ferrell. Ferrell decided he wanted to come back for one more season at Clemson. Boy, several guys missed an opportunity to scoop the ball up. Ferrell said he wanted to immortalize his legacy at Clemson and play with his brothers up front, Lawrence, Wilkins, and Bryant. Got himself a touchdown.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It's a touchdown.
And in the bigger story, another costly fumble for Georgia Tech. Their 8th of the season.
Well, that's the 4th time we've seen the ball on the ground for Georgia Tech today. This one results in points for Clemson. It's really plagued them all season, and here to start this first quarter, fumbles, and now a big turnover, the story of this game.
The extra point good. Number 3 team in the country leading 7-0 with a scoop and score. That guy needs a get-back coach. I mean, he is hyped.
College football playoff lives on